In today's video, we're doing a full step-by-step on how to get you selling using Amazon FBA in 2022. So welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be taking you through a full mini course on getting set up using Amazon FBA, specifically using the online arbitrage method. This video is catered for beginners, but if you are already experienced with Amazon FBA, please do hang around because there may be some parts which you may want to learn or which you may not know. I will be tagging the timeframes in the description, so if you do want to skip any bits, just take a look down there and you can jump to the bits you want to view. So this video is going to be broken up into 11 parts in total. I'm going to take you through from setting up your Amazon account, finding your first products, analysing your first products, sending your products into Amazon's warehouse, things like getting ungated, and everything in between which you need to know to get started with Amazon FBA. So let's get started. So first up, we're going to talk about what is Amazon FBA and what is Amazon FBN as well, and what actually is the difference. So firstly, we'll talk about Amazon FBN because you won't really be using that. Amazon FBN means fulfilled by merchant. So basically what that means is that's where you are selling your products on Amazon, but you're dispatching them yourself. Now, some people do use this method, but you're better off not using it. The reason being is because you won't really win the buy box against other FBA sellers. Now, if you don't know what the buy box is, we will be talking about that later on in the video. I'll be talking about how you actually get the buy box. So FBM really is only to be used if you can't use the FBA service. So not all lines can be sent into Amazon's warehouse. So things like alcohol, some prohibited goods, you can't send into Amazon's warehouse. So that would be the only time really you'd want to use the FBM service. So then what is Amazon FBA? Amazon FBA stands for Amazon Fulfillment by Amazon. So it basically is how it sounds. Fulfillment by Amazon. It means Amazon are fulfilling your orders. If you take a look on the screen just now, you can have a look at the FBA website. I'll link this in the description as well so you can have a look. But the concept is basically you're sending your products which you're buying into Amazon's warehouse and they are fulfilling them for you. So what does the fulfillment actually mean and what does it entail? So obviously they're going to send out your products for you, but they're also going to be storing your items as well. So you haven't got to worry about storing them. They will deal with all customer service, they will deal with all returns, they basically deal with absolutely everything for you. So that's why it's such a great method, especially as a side hustle, because it's so hands-off. Amazon is taking control of the whole back end of your business. The only thing which you have to do is actually find the products. Once you found the products and sent them in, Amazon basically take care of everything. So FBA is fairly reasonably priced as well. It's not crazily expensive for what you actually get. So probably the best part about using Amazon FBA is the ability to get the buy box. So this basically just means that you, as long as you are the cheapest seller on the listing, you're almost guaranteed to get all the sales on the listing. So what that means is once you analyze your products and you've looked into the data, you know that almost certainly when you sell your products, you're going to be selling them for the price you want, and you know how many you're going to be selling for as well. So as long as you've got your head around the analysing part, which I'll be going on later, you're never really left in the dark knowing, is this going to sell, is this not going to sell? Amazon FBA is such a powerful method of selling online, and that's why it's become so hugely popular. Okay, so now we're going to talk about how we actually set up your Amazon account. So this is what you'll use to actually sell on Amazon. You must have one of these to sell. It's different from a Prime account, but I'll be walking you through the steps on getting set up. Now, there are a few things you're going to need. You're going to need a business and contact address. This could be your home address, it's not a problem. A phone number, a UTR number, that means unique taxpayer reference, I believe, a credit or debit card, and identity details. So that's either a driving license, passport, and you'll also need things like a bank statement or something like that. So the first thing to do is head to Seller Central. So that's sellercentral.amazon.co.uk, and you'll be taken to this page just here. Now we need to set up the account. So you've obviously got to add your name, your email and your password. We'd recommend to use a different account to your, if you've got a Prime account, if you've got a buying Prime account, because you can use the same one and just log in through that, but it's best just to keep it all separate, just so it's a bit easier for you email wise, and just to make everything a bit clearer. So once you put in all your details in there, this is where we're going to start adding in the business details. So next up, we're going to start putting in all the business details. So if you're using a limited company, if you've already got a limited company, then you'll put in all your limited company information in here. We're going to be showing it as a sole trader. That's why you need a UTR number, just because it's the easiest method really for getting set up. So the first thing you do is obviously pick your business location. So for us, it's the UK. Next, you need to put your business type. So you need to put in sole proprietor. This is basically the same as sole trader. I'm not really sure why they word it like this, but sole proprietor, that means you are a sole trader. Your business name, this can be whatever you want to call your business. If you're already selling on a platform, if you've already got a setup for selling online, this is your trading name here. Or if you're brand new, then you just need to pick your business name, the name you're going to run by basically for selling online. Now, next up, we need to add the information on the UTR number. So as I said earlier, the UTR number is a unique taxpayer reference. It's a 10-digit number which you'll find on documents from HMRC, such as on a tax return. Now, if you don't have a UTR number, then you're going to need to get one. You need to go to gov.uk/register for self-assessment. They're really easy to get. It may take can take a few weeks to get it, but it's not difficult to get whatsoever. So once you've got that, you need to add your UTR number in here and fill in the rest of your business address, your business details. So as I say, if your chances are you're not going to have a unit or an office or anything like that, so this would just be your home address, and then you're going to need to verify your phone number. So just at the bottom, you see you can either pick a text message or a phone call. So enter your phone number in here, wait for the code to come through, and then verify your number. Okay, so next up is personal information about you and ID. So you're going to need to provide proof of identity and proof of address to create the account. So firstly, you're going to need to put in your country of citizenship. So obviously if this is the UK, then your country of birth, your date of birth, now a proof of identity. So easiest thing to use is to use your passport. So you need to put in your passport number in here, and then put in the date of expiry and the country of issue. Now, if your address on your passport is different, then you can add that in here. If not, you can just use residential address. You can see it ticked on the screen as well, same with phone number. Okay, now the next step is the payment information. So as I mentioned earlier, you have got to pay for this. It's £25 a month plus VAT. There is a free option, but I would strongly recommend to use the proper version from the start and just go for it. With the free option, you're basically paying an extra fee per item. So if you've got any aspirations to do well with FBA, you're definitely better off just going for the paid option right away. Okay, now step 8 is your store information. This is basically what a customer is going to see if they click on your account on Amazon. So firstly, for store name, this is your display name. So this is what the customer will see. The business is called. This can be different from your business trading name. If you want to call it something else, you can do that. Most people just do the same thing. Now you're going to see 3 questions that you need to answer. So do you have universal product codes for all your products? And the answer is yes. So that's basically a EAN number. It's the barcode basically, because you're going to be selling products which already exist. Then it's always going to be yes, basically. Next up, are you the manufacturer, brand owner or agent or representative of the brand for any of the products you want to sell on Amazon? Ignore this screenshot. It says yes. You need to tick no. Unless you're doing private label. So private label is where you're branding up your own products. You'll need to register barcodes and things like that. You're not going to be doing that. You're just going to be selling products from other brands already. So you need to click no. So just ignore that screenshot there. And then finally, do you own government registered trademark for the branded products you want to sell on Amazon? So no on this one. Again, you don't own any of the trademarks. That would only be if you're doing private label or your own brand and you've got the trademark already. Okay, step 8. Now there's some more information to identify yourself. Annoyingly, Amazon do make you jump through quite a few hoops to get set up on Amazon FBA. It is always worth it, but this is just to make it a great platform really for people buying on it. You know, they don't want just anyone selling it. You know, they don't want it to be easy to set up accounts. They want proper sellers. You know, so definitely don't see that as a bad thing. That's just to make it a better platform. So the information you need to add again, as you can see, is your name, date of birth, your identity data, your identity document. You're just ticking all this. An additional document. So this will be a bank statement is the easiest way, and then your business address. Now, once you've confirmed all that, and once you've supplied this information, it will usually take Amazon around 2 days to confirm it. Now, there is a chance that Amazon may ask you to take a video call. Now, if you do get this, don't be alarmed. This is normal. It does happen to a lot of people, and it is becoming more and more frequent. This call will last probably 20 to 30 minutes. And what they will do is you basically have to go on the call with your passport and documents and things like that. Speak to someone from Amazon and hold up your passport against your face, basically, just to make sure that the passport you've given them, all the information you've given them, it is actually you. So it's not difficult whatsoever, and I've never known anyone having any problems with it whatsoever. So if you do get that option, don't be alarmed. And basically, once they've confirmed that, then they're going to approve it right away. And you'll get a message like this, say, thank you for your requests. They'll review them, and then you'll get an email just to say that your account's been activated, basically. Okay, now your Amazon account is set up. The next part is actually configuring your Amazon settings. So there's only a few settings we want to change, and the reason we're doing this is to turn off the ability to sell internationally and using the FBA service. And the reason we do that is basically because if you don't turn it off, it will be left on, and what will happen is you'll start selling products into Europe, and you're going to be getting charged an insane amount for FBA fees. And that's a very common mistake for people when they get started. So this is why you want to turn it off straight away. So the first thing you want to do is head over to your Amazon account and head to the top right where it says log out, and you want to click account info, as you can see on the screen, just here on the screenshot. Now, the next bit we want to do is under listing status, select going on holidays. So just click that just there. Now, make all the countries listed inactive except for Amazon.co.uk. It should look like the screenshot that you're seeing on screen. And then click save. Now, the next thing you want to do is we want to remove the EU marketplaces. So basically on each country you're going to have to go through and just click remove connection. So if you have a look at the screenshot which is just popping up on the screen here, you can see on the country it says remove connection. And then you're going to get this little pop-up here, and you want to select delete list. This is only if you've already got products, but it will say delete listings in the target marketplace, and this will basically remove your listings from sale in that country. And following all them steps, that will get all your products taken off European marketplaces and worldwide marketplaces, or if you've not listed yet, then it will stop happening in the first place. And as I say earlier, it's just when you're starting out, obviously fees wise, you know, you want to be saving as much money as possible. As you get more experience, you can look into starting using the pan-European service where you're selling into Europe, but it is very, very expensive. So it's definitely something to do a little bit more research into before deciding to go down that route. Okay, so now your Amazon account's set up, we're going to get onto the fun part and talk about how we actually find products. So the method we're going to be recommending today is using the online arbitrage method. If you've seen some of my videos before, I'm sure you know what online arbitrage is. If not, it's basically where you're buying items from online retail stores, so it might be Argos, B&M, on Sainsbury's online, anywhere like that with a retail website which you can buy online, which is selling for less on their retail site and more on Amazon. And the arbitrage part basically just means you're taking advantage of the pricing differences on 2 websites. Now, it's a very powerful method for beginners because you don't need a huge amount of money to get started. It's very accessible and you can get your products so quickly that you've got such quick turnaround, you've not got a huge amount of money tied up. Now, using this method, you've got 2 types of sourcing really. You've got manual sourcing and you can use a sourcing platform of some kind. So manual sourcing, firstly, that is where you'll find the products yourself. So you might go on the clearance part on Argos or clearance site somewhere, or it doesn't have to be on clearance site at all. There really are deals everywhere. If you are new, you're probably better off using a sourcing service like our deal finder. Now, as I say, this is totally optional, but it's more just to give you a good understanding of where to look, what to look for, the types of products to buy, the types of websites to avoid, because there's a lot of websites which aren't really very good, or for Argos, for example, quite often will say products are available to buy and add to basket, but when you actually go through, it's not available for delivery or collection. So that's why using a service like Deal Finder can just, when you're first starting, get you a bit ahead of the game and get you learning a bit quicker than if you were manually sourced. So on my screen now, you're going to see Deal Finder, and I'm just going to show you how it all works. So this is the Deal Finder on an account here, and this gets updated twice a week on Tuesdays and Fridays. And the concept is we basically scrape loads and loads of websites looking for potential deals for you to then have a look through. You get loads of different categories. So for example, if we was going into toys and games, you can see that this is on Argos for £15. It's selling on Amazon for £26. This is on Very for £9.99. It's selling on Amazon for £19.99. Now, probably the one thing I do like to stress when actually looking for deals is not getting disheartened if you can't quite find something. So what you'll find is when you're new, it can be quite difficult to actually find the deals and analyse them. So I'm going to be talking about analysing in the next part of this video. But actually finding the deals, to find your first deal, it can take a bit of time to find the one perfect for you, because a lot of the products you find, you might be gated in. You might not be able to sell it yet. Give up. If you haven't found a product, within the first 30 minutes, don't give up. Keep looking, and you will eventually find one. And as you start finding more, it becomes so much easier because you know where to look. You know the types of deals to look for, and you start to learn a real good way of sourcing your deals which suits you. So next up, I'm going to show you how to actually analyse your products after you've found them. So I've got 2 products which I found off Deal Finder here, and I'm going to be showing you how I actually analyse them. So we've got this first product from Morrison's. It's £5.75. If we have a look at it on Amazon, we can see it's selling for £15.98. So if we just grab the ASIN, and we'll just head back here and we'll load up Profitl Extension. So we'll put that in there. And we'll click calculate. So on the surface, this looks like a really, really good product. So what are we actually looking for to start with? Well, firstly, it's got fairly consistent sales, 30 to 90 a month, we can see. Profit per unit, 78%. That's a fantastic profit per unit. This looks like a really promising product. And next up, it's only got 1 FBA seller. This is the big thing with Amazon FBA. There is a lot of competition. So personally, I wouldn't go near anything with more than 10 FBA sellers. The reason being just because people start to drive the price down. Typically you want 5 or below, but obviously that's not always possible. On this sort of product, if the data looks good in the price graph, we'd probably take more than 10 sellers just because the profit is so high. At the moment, typically people aim for about 30%. So you see we've got 78% on this one. Most people try and get 30%, but this is why arbitrage is great, because you really can get really high ROIs. And you're spending £5.75 and you're getting 78% ROI. Your risk to your reward is really quite massive, really. So now we're just going to have a look at the price graph. Now this is probably the most important part of the data. when analysing your FBA deals. And there's two reasons for this. Now, I've spotted something right away, which is just why analysing your FBA deals is just so important. So the first thing we're going to look at is the green line, which is the sales rank line. This is just a mirror. This is just to confirm it is selling, basically. So basically how this works is the little squiggles mean the little drops typically indicate sales. Now it's not an exact science. There's many things which affect movement in this graph. But typically the drops mean sales and the movement means sales. So the more sort of squiggly it is, the more it's selling. As it's increasing, so you can see it mirrors with the price here. As it's increasing, it means it's selling less. And if it's more jolty like this, that means it's selling less. So when we can see when it's down here, it was selling a real lot. Because not only was the sales rank lower, it was moving about quite a lot as well. So the sales rank is basically where a product sits on Amazon's website. Amazon pre-sorts everything, so best selling is first. So if you've got a sales rank of 1, that is the best selling product within that category. So this sales rank here at the moment is 62,223. So this would sit 60,000 into the toys and games category on Amazon. So we can confirm that this is selling, so that's absolutely great. But we need to be having a look at the buy box line. Basically, this is the price of the person who's got the buy box. This is the buy box just here. So we can see at the moment it's not actually a FBA seller on this listing. It's just someone who's using FBM. Now, the person who gets this buy box gets all of the sales basically. Whoever has this box will get all of the sales. If you don't have this, your chances are you won't get any sales. So it's so important to get this buy box. How do you get this? Firstly, being an FBA seller is the best way. At the moment, doesn't look like there's any FBA or there's any one, but they might not actually have stock, or they might be in another country or something like that. So somebody else has got this buy box at the moment, and then the main way is just being the cheapest seller. So whoever is cheaper will get the buy box. Amazon is all about giving the best price for their customer. So whoever has the cheapest price will get the buy box. So basically, if we was to, at this stage, if we was to buy this product and send it in and go $15.98, we could probably even sell it for a bit more, because if you're an FBA seller, you take preference over FBM sellers, you can actually sell it for more. We would probably almost guarantee to get that buy box, and we would get all of the sales on this listing. So now if we just head back over to the price graph here, and we'll have a look to see what this says. So right away we can see perhaps this isn't quite as good as what it says on the surface. Now there's two reasons for this. Firstly is if we have a look at what the price was back in November. So the price was £10 back in November. So let's have a look. If we go on Profitl and click recalculate, if we're selling it for £10, we're making a loss. And this is why it's so important to use the price graph, because if we didn't use that, if we just looked at the surface data, it is a great buy. But when you actually look at the more detailed parts on the price graph, we'd be selling it for a loss. Now, the second part is that Amazon are on the listing. So Amazon being on the listing isn't always a deal breaker, but when it's like this, we can see that they haven't been sharing the buy box at all, and they're selling it for so much cheaper. We're not going to be able to compete with them. Now, you might get lucky and Amazon might not come back on this listing, or they might not get stock back in for another 6 months. You just don't know. But it's very important just to be a little bit careful. So if you are going to do ones like this, where the price with Amazon has been way cheaper in the past, you need to be doing very small orders. If you're doing massive shipments, you're just going to be asking for trouble, really. So this is how we'd analyze this graph. We would not rule this one out, but we would take it with a strong pinch of salt, because we can see there's a very high chance that we could get undercut, because we know that it has been as cheaper as £10 just a couple of months ago. Okay, so the next one we're going to look at is this Nike bottle on M&M Direct. We can see it's £3.99. On Amazon, it is £13. So that is a brilliant pricing difference. So let's have a look at this one as well. I'd imagine this has been cheaper as well, but we've got quite a big gap between this one, which is great. So £3.99, if we just get the ASIN, and we'll have a look on here. Cool, so again, this one looks like a great one on the surface. Even better sales, 103, 160 a month, making 100% ROI at the moment. Estimated profit £4. Only 2 other FBA sellers. Now let's look at the price graph again. Okay, so we can see this is selling for more. You know, looks like the average price has been about £10 really over the last 3 months. So this one doesn't look like a bad buy whatsoever. You know, obviously if we have a look at the price, I reckon we can probably get away with saying £11 average price. So there'd still be a 59% ROI on this one. And the fact that firstly Amazon doesn't look like Amazon's been on the listing, so that's great news. There's not many other sellers on this one, so this one does look like quite a good buy really. You know, and we have a look at all the other data, good profit, you know, 2 FBA sellers, nice amount of reviews, a good sales rank. All round this does look like a good product. So you know, these are the sort of products which you want to be going for, especially if you're new, because you know, £3.99 you could just buy 10 for example. You know, that's going to cost you not much money at all, £39. You know, and you're going to be getting returned back if you sold them 10, £110 gross, so £110 in revenue. Obviously you're going to have fees in that as well, but you can just see how powerful Amazon FBA is, just that you can flip things so quickly really. So once we're happy with the deals we've found, how do we actually buy them? What is the process of sending them in and packaging them up and things like that? So when you're first starting, I would recommend to not go too mad on the amount of units you're ordering, just while you're learning the ropes. Probably 10 is a good amount to start with. If you found a product, buy 10. So the way it works is basically you'll order 10 on the website to your home address. Now the nice thing about online arbitrage is that you can just reuse the same packaging it was sent in. You don't need to worry if it's got the retailer's details on the box. Just remove the invoice from the box, check over everything inside, make sure nothing's damaged or anything like that, because obviously if it's damaged you need to be sending it right back to the retailer. So make sure it's not damaged, remove any pricing or anything like that, and then just reseal it all. Now some lines you might need to put in a poly bag. If it's not got if it's like a plush toy and it's not got, you know, proper packaging, you might just want to put that in a poly bag or something like that just to protect it. Some products you have to put in a poly bag. You know, more in the beauty category, they must be in a poly bag. So some of the things you're going to need is, you know, tape, poly bags. You might want to get some other boxes as well. You know, if you need to change anything or if a box is damaged. Or anything like that, but there isn't a huge amount you need to get. Just because you're being able to reuse the packaging, it's already been sent in. So I'm going to be showing you the steps from adding your products into Amazon and then arranging your first shipment all the way to getting it collected with UPS. So I'm just going to share my screen with you now. So as you can see, I'm on an Amazon seller account here and we're on the add products page. So to get to this page, you go on to inventory and you click add a product. Now I'm just going to be sending in a random product today. We won't actually be sending the product in, but this is just to show you how it works. So if we do a quick search for a brand, we can do an example with, so Teamsters for example. So let's just scroll down a few. So if we imagine we've purchased this Teamsters toy bike multicolor here. So this is obviously the product which you'll purchase. So the first thing you're going to do is select the condition new, obviously not gated in this one. If you do want to know about how to get ungated, check out my last video. So now we're going to click sell this product. Fantastic. So this is the page where you need to add your information. So the seller SKU, this is basically for tracking your stock. The buyer won't see this. This is just a reference for you. So we'll just put in this test 1. Your price, now you don't have to actually worry too much about the price right now. You want to be setting that up once you've actually the product's going to be arriving to Amazon. So for this we'll just set the price as £8 just to be close to the price up there. Now the quantity, now again we can just set this to 0. Now country, region of origin, now typically I'll just put China, the chances of the product was made there. And then next up, obviously condition new. So
Just here you'll see fulfillment channel. I will ship this item myself, merchant fulfilled, Amazon will dispatch and provide customer service. So that's the one we want to be clicking, fulfilled by Amazon, which is FBA. And you can also click remember this setting for next time. Once we've done that, we're going to click save and finish. So now we're on the barcode type page. So you'll usually get two options to select here. On this one, we've only get one, so Amazon barcode. You may also sometimes get manufacturer barcode. If you get manufacturer barcode, that basically means you can use the label on the product already, so the barcode on the product already. But in this case, we're going to have to be using the Amazon barcode. So this basically means we have to print off barcodes given to us by Amazon and stick them on each of the products. So that's not a problem whatsoever. So Amazon barcode, click save and continue. Okay, now we're on the shipment page, so the send to Amazon page. Now, this might seem a little bit daunting at first, but it's really, really straightforward to use. So you've obviously got your ship from address just there. That's the product we're sending in with the SKU. Now you'll see here there's a little warning which says information action prep and labeling details needed. So if we just click on that, it's basically going to be asking us about whether this needs any extra preparation, and it's not, so we're doing no prep needed. So we'll just click save that. Now, who labels the units? Now, you may or may not know that you can pay Amazon to basically label up your products. Now, it's probably best if you don't do this because it does eat into your profits and it's so easy to label up your own products. So we're just going to click buy seller and click save. Brilliant. Now, as you can see, this box here has lit up, which means we can add the number of units we're sending in. So let's imagine we've bought 15 units. What we're going to do is we're going to click 15 in here and then select ready to pack. And then we're going to select pack individual units. Brilliant. So the next part that Amazon needs us to do is basically add the sizing information for the box that we're going to be sending in. Now, if you're doing online arbitrage, you can just use the same box which the products arrived in. Obviously, if you're doing retail arbitrage and you're not going to have a box, so you're going to have to get boxes as well. So you'll see we've got two options here, which is how many boxes will these units fit into? Everything will fit into one box. Multiple boxes will be needed. So I'll just show you both. So obviously, if everything fits into one box, it's nice and simple. You click confirm. You measure the size of the box. So 10, 10, 10. Then you need to weigh the box with the items in. 10. Then you'll click confirm packing information, and then you'd click confirm and continue, and that would go to the next step. Now we're just going to restart that just so I can show you if you've got multiple boxes, which is quite common, especially as you get a bit more experience and you're sending more products in. So if we just click multiple boxes will be needed. Now this is really simple. So say we've got 4 boxes, open a web form, and basically right here, if it's got 5 in one box, 3 in another, 3 in another, 4 in another, it's just like so. You then have to put in the weight of each of the boxes, and then you obviously add the dimensions for all of the different boxes here. But this is something which you'll be doing quite a lot once you've got more products, but it's just following what Amazon is asking. So we're just going to click back off that, and we'll just go on the single box on this one, and we'll just put in imaginary sizes. We'll say just 1 kilogram. Brilliant. And then we'll click just confirm and continue just there. And it's just validating the SKUs and confirming the fulfillment centers. So now we're on the confirm shipping page. So we're just going to be putting in the date we want to get it collected. And we're going to be using Amazon's partnered carrier. This is by far the easiest method to use. Amazon are partnered with UPS. And it's all integrated within Amazon, and it's quite cost effective as well. So they'll basically pre-work out the cost based on the data you've given them. So that's on the size and the weight and what's included in the package. So we've basically seen here that £3.66, that's going to be the cost to send this into Amazon's warehouse. Now, we also do get free collection with this. So I'm obviously not going to be actually buying this today because it is just a test order, but what you would then do is you just tick this here, I agree to Amazon's partner carrier terms and conditions, tick that, accept charges and confirm shipping. And then that will take us onto the next page where you'll get your shipping labels basically. Now I will come back to that just in a second. The first thing I just want to be showing you is about the barcodes. So as I mentioned earlier, we need barcodes on this one. So what I want you to do is click view contents, and then you'll see just here units labels required. Obviously we're sending in 15, and you'll see it says print. So if we just click print there, and we'll open that up, and as you can see, this is all the barcodes. Now this is where you'll need actual label paper. You can change the sizing if you've got different paper, but the far easiest method of doing it is printing this with a normal printer on specialist label paper, and you can basically just print this on there and you can stick them on each of the products. Now once you've done that, we'll head back over to about the actual UPS labels now. So you'd be heading over to the next page. Now you'll have the option of a number of different sizes to print the UPS labels. Most people use 4x6, which is where an actual specialist label printer will come in handy, but you can just use a normal printer as well and just stick it on. So once you've got the labels, you're going to be wanting to be looking at the actual tracking numbers on the labels. This is how you book the collection and making sure it's free. So all you would have to do is basically copy the tracking number, and then if you Google UPS schedule collection, and you'll come to this page just here. So schedule a parcel collection. Do you have a pre-printed UPS shipping label for your shipment? Yes, you do. So basically all you have to do is paste the tracking numbers which are on the label in here. If you've got more than one tracking number, because you're sending in multiple boxes, it's all the same. You can do 30 at a time. And then you just need to fill in the rest of the information. It's all really straightforward. You can schedule the time you want your collection. You obviously need to fill out all the details, where they're picking it up from, any special instructions, and then you just complete the collection. So that's how you send products into Amazon's warehouse. As you can see, it's super easy to do and nothing to be scared of whatsoever. One point just to mention is just making sure that if Amazon are asking for Amazon barcodes, you do make sure you put them on, because it's very easy to forget to add them on, and then basically Amazon are going to be charging you for adding the labels on, and if you've got a big shipment, that can quite add up, and it really does eat into your margins. I'm going to share my screen with you now. Now the website we're going to use is one called Harrison's Direct. Now you may be familiar with this already. They do quite a large range of wholesale products, and it's very easy to create an account with them, and it's free to create an account as well. The nice thing about Harrison's is that they have a really large range of products. So it starts from health and beauty, stationery, toys, gifts, confectionery, household. So what that means is that it gives you a lot of opportunity to get a lot of things ungated, because as you start selling on Amazon FBA, you'll notice that a lot of things are gated, and this is one way to really open up your selling. So as I say, we're going to be doing Playmobil today. So the first thing we're going to be doing is obviously needing to find a product within this category on here. So I found this Playmobil Special Agent with drone. So what we want to be doing firstly is checking the requirements on Amazon. Once we've found a product, so we just want to be checking the requirements on Amazon. So if we just copy this title and head over to Amazon and paste that in here. Now it's really important to make sure that the product you found is the exact same product. If it's not the same product, it won't get ungated. So we can see that is exactly the same product, so that's brilliant. So when you are gated, what you'll notice is that right here it says apply to sell. So we'll click new and it says apply to sell. Usually you can just list items if you're ungated, but on this one we've obviously gated in it, so we've got to click apply to sell. So what we're going to do is we're going to click that. Okay, so we can see here that this account doesn't qualify. Now, you may notice on some lines that you can get automatic approval just by clicking this. So if we click request approval, but on this one we don't, which is to be expected. So what we want to be doing now is reading the information on what Amazon need to get to ungate us in this. So at least one purchase invoice for products from a manufacturer or distributor. So we've got that bit covered. We're getting that from Harrison's. So the requirements that this must meet is that it's dated on or after the 6th of June. So within 180 days. It must include your name and address, matching the information in your selling account. So basically, when you order that product, you need to send it to the same details which you've set up your Amazon account. They need to match exactly the same. Next up, it needs to include the name and address of the manufacturer or distributor. So this will be Harrison's in this case. And then just after that, we've got show the combined purchase of at least 10 units. It must submit price information. Now that's optional. And as it says here, please note that they may verify your submitted documentation by contacting the product vendor, so that would be Harrison's, but that's not a problem whatsoever because we are actually buying the product. Now, you may also notice on some lines, it's usually more typically in an actual category. They may ask for photos of the product, where they ask for photos of all sides of the product, and it must include the maker's address details basically. So you'll notice on any product you buy, it will have their head office address usually on, so it needs to include that. And then that is typically only on sort of main categories, so toys or beauty. You don't really see it as often on the branded ones, but it does happen from time to time. So if you do spot that, don't panic, that's not a problem whatsoever. So we're going to head back to Harrison's now and start working our way through this. So the thing I'm just going to start on is the show the combined purchase of at least 10 units. So what that means is that you don't need to buy sort of 10 boxes of anything. It needs to be 10 individual units. So as we can see on this product here, this is a case size of 5. So this has got 5 units. So in this instance, what we'll be doing is we'll be having to buy 2 to equal 10. Now you don't need to buy any more than that. Obviously, if you've got a case size which includes more than that, that's absolutely fine. Add to basket. Brilliant. So this is now in our basket. So the next thing for us to do is to obviously wait for the item to arrive. So as I say, when you're checking out, make sure that you're using the exact same details as what's on your Amazon account. If you don't do that, you will have problems. So that's really important to make sure that the address, the name, the company name, however you've set up your account, make sure that it is identical, because if you don't, the chances are they'll reject it, and what that basically means is that you'll have to start the whole process again. So it's really important just to sort of take your time when you're doing this, because it will just save you a lot of work later on. So we're fast forwarding now, and the item has now arrived, and we now need to fill in the rest of the information. So the best thing for you to do is basically to make it as clear as possible for the Amazon support staff. So you basically want to make it very, very obvious what you're doing. Very, very obvious that it's 10 units, very obvious that it's the right product, and just basically highlight all the information they're asking for. So the first few bits are simple. So the invoice that you get will include your name and address, which will be matching your selling account. It will obviously include the name and address of where you're buying it from. That will be including it as well. So show the combined purchase of at least 10 units. So what is advisable on this is actually highlighting the fact it is 10 units. So for example, on this one, this is going to say, because it's a case size of 5, this is going to say 2 times 5 on the invoice. So what you want to be doing is basically highlighting the fact that it equates up to 10. So a really good thing is to circle the actual quantity. So circle where it says 2 times 5, then draw a little arrow and highlight the fact that this equates to 10 units. Now, as I mentioned earlier, when you're being asked if you do need to take photos of a product, when you're being asked to do that, that's just another thing which you want to make really simple for them. So if they're asking for the address of the manufacturer as well for the actual product on the box, just highlight everything for it and just basically make everything as clear as you can. So once you're happy, you've added all the information you need to add, it's now time to obviously submit the information. Now it can take a little while to hear back. It's usually quite quick, but it really does depend on the time of year and what's going on. If Amazon do reject your first go, do not be disheartened. This is very, very common. It happens quite a lot. The important thing that you want to be doing is working out why they rejected it. Basically, they'll give you basic information, but they don't give you a huge amount of information as to why it's happened. So just sit back and reflect as to why it is they might have rejected it, and then basically make it clearer for them and resend in whatever you need to do it. It can take 2 attempts, it can take 3 attempts, it can take 4, but eventually you will get ungated.
So generating sales, how do you actually do that? Now this should be pretty easy really, as long as you are analysing your products properly and looking at all the data and making sure the pricing points are correct. It shouldn't be a problem whatsoever. So as I mentioned earlier about the buy box is the key to basically getting the sales. If you don't get the buy box, you're not going to get any sales. So on every listing you want to be making sure you're getting that buy box. Now there's a couple of methods you can go down. You can use Amazon's free repricer, where you undercut the buy box. I personally now probably wouldn't recommend to use this method. You're much better off sharing the buy box. So just matching the buy box price. So basically what Amazon do is if there's two sellers who have got the same price, they will share the buy box between the two sellers. As long as they're on a similar level account wise, they will share that buy box. So for some time the other seller might have it, but then you'll be getting the buy box and you'll get the sales. And then it will go back to the other seller and then they'll give it back to you. So that's why, rather than getting in a pricing war and driving the prices down, obviously if you keep undercutting the other seller, they might undercut you, you're going to undercut them until you get to your minimum price, and you're not going to be making much profit. So you are going to find listings where people do that anyway. Not much you can do about it, sadly. If you do see a pricing war, wait for everyone to sell out. It's by far the best way. You don't want to be getting into pricing wars on Amazon if you want. Sadly, a lot of people do it, mainly because they don't quite understand the platform. But you're definitely better off matching the buy box and just sharing the buy box with other sellers. There's plenty of sales to go around for everyone. That is the amazing thing about Amazon. There is just so many sales going on there. There's plenty of sales to go around on Amazon. So try not to get in a pricing war. Stick to the route of matching the buy box. Unless you think that can win the buy box all the time by being a little bit cheaper, fair enough, but just be very careful not to drive the prices down too much, because it can really hit profitability. Now you've set up with Amazon, you've become successful, you're selling consistently. How do you scale it up further? So there's a few methods really. We'll start from the basics and then talk about a few more advanced methods. So the basics firstly are obviously the obvious things. So you're going to be wanting to buy more lines. You're going to be wanting to increase the amount of stock you're buying per line, and just trying to increase your sales as high as possible. Now, I strongly recommend to really learn the core basics of online arbitrage first, and try and become as successful as possible. Try and become as consistent. Try and send as many products in as you can. Look to other methods of online arbitrage. So you've got things like buying multi-packs, where you, for example, buy two of one product, but combining them together, put them in a poly bag and selling them as a set of two. There's lots of listings like that, which are sets of two, sets of three, sets of four, however it might be, where you're actually buying them individually and combining them yourself as a multi-pack. You've then also got things like bundles, where you're bundling a couple of different products together. There's a lot of bundles out there on Amazon as well. So this is actually where you want to be looking into Amazon more rather than the retail sites, to see what listings are out there in bundles, because there's a lot of really high selling listings on there as well. So that's just the arbitrage method really. And then as you become more experienced, you want to probably start looking into other methods of Amazon FBA. So you've got three main methods really. You've got arbitrage, you've got wholesale, and you've got private label. So wholesale, that's where you're buying goods from wholesalers in bulk. So the amount you're going to be spending on each stock line is going to be a lot larger. You might be getting better prices, and it is more scalable, but again, it is very competitive as well. A product you might be buying and sending in might be great for a month, 2 months, 3 months, but that wholesaler is going to be selling to other people as well. So it only takes one other person to find that same product as you to jump on your listing, and you can get into a bit of a pricing battle. So that is the only downside of wholesale, but it is definitely very scalable. And then the third option, and probably the most advanced route, is looking into private label. So private label is basically where you're importing goods from and getting your own brand on that product. So typically you'll buy it from China using Alibaba. You'll design a brand. You'll find a product, you'll design a brand, you'll get your design printed on that product as if you made it yourself. You have to create the listing, you have to generate the sales, you have to do everything basically. It is a very hard method, and it can be very expensive, but if you can pull it off, it can be insanely rewarding and insanely profitable as well. If you look at all the biggest FBA sellers, you know, they are the ones doing private label, mainly because obviously you are getting every single listing on every single sale on your listing. You've got no competition because you own the brand. So, you know, obviously you'll start getting people who copy the product you've got, but if you ever worry about people jumping in, undercutting you. So it's a fantastic route, but as I say, it's just a bit more expensive. So that's the end of it. I really hope you found that video helpful. The one thing I do like to stress, you know, as with any business really, is that FBA is not easy by any means. It's not the most straightforward thing, but if you do put in the work in, you know, if you work really hard and you try all you can to learn, you really can do well from it. And if you were interested in joining Profitl or Deal Finder, just hit the link in the description. We do have a free PDF course as well for all of our members. We've got a Discord community. We've got over 1,800 people in there now, so it's a fantastic community. But thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.